OK， 欢迎回到精彩的比赛，现在是第。OK， 欢迎回到精彩的比赛。刚刚上一回合是由皇族所率先拿下1分，今天是BO3的比赛。
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Once again, you are watching the Season 4 World Championship qualifiers for the Chinese region. Guys, we've been embroiled in a battle between Brains and Braun. Frosker, and it looks like Braun prevailed. Not, of course, he was not a part of that last match.
And it was largely on the back of Uzi. Had a great performance that game. Of course, Insect carrying the early part of the stages. I think he was 4, 1, and 2 around the early to mid-game mark there on that Rengar. Can't allow that to happen, but...
Oh, he made the plays. He absolutely made the plays happen. And I think he really propelled kind of a struggling, I would say, top and mid lane. It was difficult to deal with way less, especially on that Riven pickup, a really curious choice. And LGD looked like they might have had it, but a couple of key mistakes. And it always impresses me how Starhorn Royal Club manages to capitalize on the smallest things and just crush their opponents into dust. The back timing especially is what sealed the nail in the coffin, giving the Baron buff over with the amount of burst. Uzi looked fantastic as usual. I think Lucian, he's one of the few AD carries that I feel like it's still incredibly effective on him.
Oh, absolutely. Found a ton of success on that champion through the split, which, of course, a lot of AD carries did, but continues to do so after, you know, the changes and everything settling down around Lucian. The caliber of Starhorn Royal Club, I mean, yes, it's very impressive. You know, you can't give them even an inch because they just take a mile. They just completely steamroll through. But it makes sense. This is a world caliber team. You have a lot of veterans on this side, and it looks like that's where their eyes are set. You've had Insect come out and publicly say, if Starhorn Royal Club does not make Worlds, I will not be continuing on.
Yeah, that's a rough proposition there. He has been instrumental.
Yeah, and the time and energy spent, you know, bringing over these Korean players, bringing in a Mandarin teacher so they can learn the language in the gaming facility. I mean, it's a lot invested to not see payoff. So Starhorn Royal Club definitely having a lot on the line for them to qualify here and make an appearance.
Oh, Uzi getting the MVP for that. And small wonder, too, 13-1 and 5, an absolutely awesome KDA to end that game out. And he really made his presence known. More on Starhorn, yeah. They're one of the few teams for which the importing Korean strategy has really paid off.
They're the only team.
World Elite, it collapsed. Their academy team, they're nowhere to be seen. Invictus, yeah, they have Youngsu, but, well, they're in the loser's bracket right now, and they're, right now, Starhorn looking to send LGD right there. They could do it in one more game, but, I don't know, PYL, he's got 1.5 million strategies. I'm sure he can find one that might be able to work against the Starhorn squad, but it is not going to be easy.
Despite how one-sided and immediate the victories were of these games, it was actually a very close-paced game for the majority of it. LGD, like you said, it was a very cause and effect style of play, but that's pretty much the MO that we've seen from LGD and Starhorn World Club every single time that they face. You have to think whoever loses this game, dropping down into the loser's bracket with Invictus Gaming waiting for them. LGD versus IG is a very interesting matchup for me. Should LGD not be able to pick this one up?
Well, if that game was an indicator, it seems that LGD cannot afford to make even the littlest of mistakes. The early game, you know, might be forgivable. Nonetheless, Starhorn has shown time and time again that if they get a chance, they get an opening, they will take it and go for the jugular. I think they have to focus a lot of bans onto Insect this time.
They have to ward his jungle earlier and more collectively.
Yeah, but do you think we see a Rengar takeaway? Because he has such a deep pool. He's got so many crazy picks he can go with. He can play Lee Sin, he can play Kha'Zix. You can try to take some away, but it's very difficult a proposition, and there's a lot of other must-ban champions as well. Fizz up on the board as well. I don't think we'll see that anytime soon.
In all frank honesty, I don't believe that Insect is a good Rengar, but
good enough.
He jungled well, if that makes sense. It's kind of the same.
Generally speaking, yes.
It's the same thing that I think with Alan. I don't think Alan is particularly a good Rengar player. There are very few good Rengar players in the world in the global context. But they jungle well.
You need a Rengar to kind of have a team behind it doing exactly what you want all the time. You need a strategy that's specifically tailored to that champion. It's very hard to use incredibly well, but give Insect props. He definitely played it more than passably and was huge. He was this place happen, despite Miss Bullis.
He was influential in the early part of that game.
Can we go with that?
I'm going to go with a B+.
You are a harsh grader. I'm really glad I didn't have you for a teacher.
Hit your bolas, sir. You pick that champion every single time, and you still miss it.
I was like a B student in high school. You would have been like failing me.
Did you Mushu bolas 2 feet from you?
No.
He's in China, come on.
On the weekends, actually, I was able to hit 10 pins all at once. It's called a strike, you know.
At first, I thought you were going to go with beer pong there, and then I remembered that we're in high school, so it had to be bowling.
Excuse you.
Okay.
All
No,
right,
picks and
so-
bans for the next game. I don't think it's going to be a Rengar takeaway. Although I don't know if your stream lagged because mine did.
Yeah, it's happening.
Okay, perfect.
That's probably on the Tencent end. So
As long as it's not on our end.
well, as we get this like awkward facial pause too. This guy's like looking to come up with an answer to the question they just posed him.
I came back. You came back?
Yeah, I came back.
Excellent, we're back.
Oh
No.
no, not more. False alarm, everybody.
Oh, I'm still back.
Okay, well, let's see how that turns out.
Rest in peace, Pyra. No, picks and bans going in. I don't think it's going to be a Rengar takeaway. I think the Zillion will be taken away for sure. Fizz has to be a consistent ban across the board. Maokai should be taken away. Trying to think of what else. Orianna will be contested.
Yeah, Fizz mentioned Orianna should be contested. I don't know. Wayless has so many options in his pool too. The mid laners in China have stepped up massively from a pool perspective.
Oh yes. Everyone talks about the 80 carries, but very few fail to recognize that 8 out of the from the spring split to the summer split, 6 out of the 8 mid laners have been replaced or upgraded. The mid talent pool for China is astronomical.
Yeah, it's insane. And of course, we've seen such crazy picks as Renekton mid. Of course, Zatai rocking that one. But for Starhorn, it's the options that they have. They have so many weapons, and they just need to point and shoot them at the right targets. The right number of times. And LGD, you know, they masked a really nice defense, but it just wasn't enough, and the slightest mistake knocked them off their perch. Starhorn completely dominating in the following team fights. We'll see if they can do it again, but I think we don't see a huge differential in picks and bans, but Orianna is something you definitely have to change up.
Even though it wasn't the most impactful champion in that game, it's still a very big pick for Corrin. Again, you're fighting against the siege, or excuse me, the anti-siege of Orianna, but we are into picks and bans.
Here we go. That's a Kale and a Zillion banned out too. Curious, of course, not letting PYL get that. Fizz, they're not messing around. And the Maokai ban, I feel like they could have held off Maokai.
It's too important a pick, and it's obvious that they're going to ban it away because they are on purple side, since they don't have first pick, so...
Kao's pretty much been permabanned no matter who's playing lately. This is 414 as well, so he's yet to receive those nerfs.
His headbutt nerf.
Mm-hmm. Little extra damage associated with that. What is the last ban here? Do they go for the Ori ban and risk it being first picked? Or instead of risk it being first picked?
I believe that Ryze and Orianna will be prioritized.
Equally, yeah. No matter what, the other one is an option. It's kind of a losing situation. They will ban the fiddle. Mind games. Okay, so that's the Ori pickup. That means Ryze is on the table, though. And I think 17 goes for that. Yep, here we go. Instantly hovering it over. And they have an option to take away a jungle here. I think Lee Sin might be a good choice. Xuan has definitely been the player to do that as Yorick. It's hovered over as well.
It's Yorick jungle, secretly.
Oh, yeah. No, that's definitely... I mean, you know, credit to Xuan, too. He stepped up pretty big on Elise this time.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
they didn't win, but that was a lot better than we've seen him on a non-Lee Sin champion.
Again, it was just positional errors on important objective plays that really lost them the game, as opposed to those individual 1v1s that we typically see from Starhorn Blood Club versus LGD. So, closer set than it appeared.
Yeah, big time. And this is starting to look like a very similar composition from Starhorn. They will get the lock-ins they were looking for. No, Insect says no Lee Sin, no problem. I go Rengar once again, and this is XQ hovering over the Vayne pickup. Also Kassadin, which is actually a little uncommon in China, especially since his multitude of nerfs.
Incredibly uncommon in China.
I'd be surprised. Yeah, they don't need to do this. There's a perfectly good support available. This is a much better later game composition from LGD. Oh, even better, the Kog'Maw. Why would you tumble away from the Lucian when you can simply kite him for days?
The issue is that you're picking a Kog'Maw against an Orianna Rengar submarine composition, And what I mean by submarine composition is Rengar will pop his ultimate, he'll go into stealth, he'll have the ball on top of him, he'll be able to leap onto Kog'Maw from stealth into a shockwave.
Not only that, but they've got a little extra move speed buffs. This Janna pickup has been seeing increased numbers of play. We've also seen a lot of awesome builds too. The Medjai's Janna build, very effective because Janna never dies, especially if Zero is playing. It's like a James Bond movie.
You mean KDA Curly, since he's the only person to play Janna yet?
Yeah, but he has a really, really high number. I mean, Zero's playing really, really good on any number of supports is what I'm getting at here.
Yes, and again, one of the few that can play the versatility of the disengage. Saw quite a few questionable Nami ults last game, but see if Janna works out better for him. Like you said, FCZF has been playing a lot of Janna.
Looking for this last lock, and oh my goodness, it's a Diana pickup for way less. And this fits right in with the kind of thing he likes to do.
So the first time that we saw Diana in LPL, it was actually a counter pick of a Kassadin. Wayless did play the Diana, so champion well known for him. Again, he has a decent sized champion pool, but it's a little bit tilted.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange. But LGD's really loving the strange compositions anyways, and I think this is a team that has the potential to knock Starhorn off their perch, but you can tell that they're the epitome of comfort right now, picking everything they wanted, and this will be another interesting game. It's going to be on LGD not to make the mistake. Starhorn very confident in their ability to team fight their way out of any situation.
Zero appears to be napping here, while the rest
Battle
of his
nap.
the battle nap.
He's waiting, preparing for the Janna.
I've always really liked Janna in the context of LPL just because they're so team fight oriented, and it's very much about fighting from all these different angles and collapsing very quickly. And the ability of Janna to reset a team fight with one button, I think is exponentially potent. So
yeah, it should be an X factor in fights, and Wayless is definitely the X factor of this team. We'll see if he can deliver on that. He had a bit of trouble finding the 1v1 early on the last game on Riven, but definitely going to have the most interesting picks of this entire qualifier so far, and he can't hold anything back. This is Worlds on the line.
See what they're going to go through. I think there might be a few technical issues as PYL yells down the line. What are you doing?
Get a chance to get a few last sips of that energy drink, or it's juice, I think. They usually drink juice, but out of Nalgene bottles. I want one of those. Oh, a Poro. Oh, 2 Poros.
Man.
Well, all right. Those are very large compared to the ones I'm used to seeing. You know, little handheld squishies.
The prizes that they give out at the LPL events
I know, they put us to shame in North America, I'm telling you.
They like throw these $100 keyboards and graphic cards and
they just, whoever hits in the head gets to walk away with it.
They
just have to pay for their own medical bills.
What's the game? It's Name That Champion. They'll walk out into the crowd and they'll show a champion splash art or a piece of it, and if you name the champion, you get like, oh, here's a free graphic card, and let's just give you a laptop. We'll put it in a backpack for you.
Yeah, it's awesome. Speaking of backpacks, let's see if Wayless and PYL can get everyone to hop on board with that one. Xuen needs to be able to perform on Lee Sin. He has been in the past. It's been his one reliable champion, but I'm still afraid here that it's sort of the falling back into bad habits that LGD tends to not do so well with.
It also turns out that when Chuan plays Lee Sin, at least as of recent, Wayless owns his jungle. So you'll see Chuan never jungling. He'll just be ganking over and over and over again, while Wayless, builds a jungle item on his mid laner and just farms the Wraith camp and the mini golems over and over. Shouldn't see that too much on Diana, but does have that ability available to him. See what build path he chooses.
Yeah, that'll be pretty curious. Wayless's builds are always like the most completely crazy, I don't know where this is even going kind of thing to look at. So like every time I get a break from the action, I always check in like, what is he building today?
He's entertaining in that he's unique in what he attempts to do, especially in
and he
how
makes it work.
He tries to coordinate it with the team. It's definitely a strong point of them, but again, LGD just gets so close every single time, and it's just that one important play that they misstep and everything snowballs out of their control.
Yeah. Well, they have a team that can definitely pick off individual targets, but Uzi playing an incredibly safe AD carry once again on that Lucian. We'll see if XQ has a bit better luck with his choice this time. Kog'Maw is a risky choice, but if they make it to the late game, Well, anything can happen.
Yeah, but they made it to the late game last time effectively, and nothing
Yeah,
paid off.
They didn't quite get the angle they needed. I think they gave up too much with that Baron. That was the biggest issue.
Bad back time from Chuan.
Mm-hmm.
Cod going
I mean,
nuts.
that's part of the coordination. It's they didn't stagger properly. They had PYL and Chuan back.
This crowd has actually been relatively quiet. I don't know if maybe
You missed the resident sleeper earlier.
We
They're
can't-
like, wake up.
if they needed to mic the crowd or something like that, but a little bit
Mic-
dead.
Mic the entire crowd, and then you can hear all the craziness.
I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Now that's
I
a
feel
burger.
like-
That's definitely a burger. I want one of those.
That is a burger. Look at that Fana.
Ugh, I get so hungry watching the crowd eat because I can't. I'm like, oh, I'm in the middle of something.
That guy's got a full-on burrito right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm on camera. Mom, can you see me? I'm covering my face.
Who would be on a cell phone right now? What are you calling? LGD's down, Mom. Who do I bet on?
That is always the question. You never know with LGD. They have been able to really come back in unlikely circumstances. In fact, their entire playoff run and this qualifier is unlikely. They just narrowly edged out World Elite, a team that everyone almost assumed would go through.
Speaking of World Elite, of course, if you didn't recognize him, it was Wei Xiao. They were interviewing previously along with Pomelo. So
Recently retired.
Yeah, Salme is also in the audience
One of the
there.
most famous players. Oh, hello. Yeah, one of the more famous players of, I think, generally just Chinese LoL. All around, Wei Xiao was sort of that iconic AD carry.
Certainly one of the most popular players in the entirety of League of Legends, yes.
Mm-hmm. And he will definitely be missed, as well as Salme, one of the most popular players. Of course, a lot of these guys that have retired, PDD, Messiah, gone on to have very successful careers in staying in esports in general, just kind of streaming, doing things like that. I don't think those two very famous World Elite players will have any trouble really mimicking that.
Certainly, especially with Wei Xiao and Salme deciding that they are going to stay in the World Elite house while they stream career. So sticking true and loyal to the brand, staying with World Elite, making sure that the company continues to prosper as they look for their new roster and solidify things on that front.
Prosper with the roster? You almost rhymed there.
One would
We're still
hope.
having that rap battle later, right?
Oh yeah, throwing it down. I saw you twerking earlier, but I think
Oh, man. Let's not talk about that. I think I broke a hip.
I think you strained your neck. I was surprised you didn't get whiplash.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at how much I actually don't injure myself.
Spry, all that
Considering the number of
stretching.
things I do. Yeah. Oh, Starhorn sign in the crowd. They are a very popular team, but you know, they've garnered a huge fan base outside of China in general. Our wonderful Western audience, all of you people, lovely
Insec?
people watching, people are really big fans of the Starhorn side, especially Insec.
Wait, does Insec play for Starhorn Royal Club?
I heard
Insec's
he
in
did.
China?
Yep,
What?
he's tearing it up in the jungle.
Where's Tabe?
I don't know. I think he retired
He's coaching,
too soon. It's way too soon. Well, yeah,
sir.
he's coaching some LSPL teams.
Vici Gaming.
Mm-hmm. There's several VG Gamings. Well,
There's
maybe only
two.
one now, but there used to be a lot more. It's confusing. LSPL is very, very expansive.
Speaking of expansive, of course, LPL. I feel like there's
Yeah,
a checklist
extra
of
teams.
these topics that
Oh
we can
yeah,
go
we're
down.
gonna see. Yeah, we're definitely gonna see a lot more teams. It's still uncertain how they're actually gonna go about doing relegation versus just adding new teams. And do you think they'll just keep the newcomers that ended up being in those bottom two spots?
I think it'll be a hybrid. Previously, there was no relegation tournament. The teams that were the bottom two LPL teams, Positive Energy and Energy Pacemaker, got kicked out and replaced for Young Glory, Invictus Gaming's sister team, as well as World Elite Academy, World Elite's sister team. Those two teams are now at the bottom there, narrowly followed by Invictus Gaming themselves. I expect that two teams, King and Snake, will be allowed into LPL, but there might be some sort of relegation tournament for the final spots.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes they announce things like literally the last minute. I love when
And then change it the
we're
day
about to
of.
go live, and then, hey guys, surprise! The cast is 2 hours later. Thanks. Every once in a while.
I'm insanely jealous of this guy's pink shirt and purple tie, though.
I'm telling you, purple is an amazing color to rock. You ought to try it more.
Look at this casting desk. That is 2 girls, 1 cast.
I'm not even going to take that bait. Let's move on. So, with the technical difficulties, do you think this gives a little bit of time for LGD to kind of like really ponder what they want to do with this composition, or are they just kind of like, no, we're set, we just have to execute what we're doing?
Anytime you have a stall like this, I would personally think, that said, I've never been in this situation as a professional player to give insight on this, that it would be better for the team playing from the back foot. Momentum is a very real thing. This obviously cools off Starhorn Royal Club, so yes, I would say that having a stall, having a technical issue, whatever this happens to transpire from, is definitely advantageous to LGD.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's a nice little breathing space before anything really kicks off the ground. On the other hand, if nerves do affect a lot of these players, it may not really show. I think of all the teams, LGD are very controlled. With a few exceptions where we've seen PYL just going absolutely nuts on the team after a loss, but then they usually end up turning it around into a win. I mean, he's like the coach and a player all at once.
Definitely takes his position as captain very seriously. We've already talked about how Wayless specifically picked LGD to play for because of PYL's ability to be a captain for his team.
It's not every day that you can attract top talent just by your reputation. Just say, hey, I want to play on that guy's team. And he was, back in the day, a member of the same squad. Noah's Ark eventually became OMG. I mean, that's a lot of experience going back. And he has a wide champion pool. He plays at the top of his level. I mean, this is a guy that I would almost put him on the level of like Wei Xiao, just in the support role. He's been in the scene so long, and yet he gets so little press just because he's never been on a team that has been as storied since he was on Noah's Ark.
See if that pans out for him. I would love to see...
I mean, if they can make Worlds, this would be huge for LGD, and PYL especially.
I would love to see PYL make Worlds, but Starhorn Royal Club is looking very strong. And we talked a lot about LGD, but again, we kind of gloss over Starhorn Royal Club. They have superstars of their own, but they also have just great talent generally across the board. Of course, we talk a lot about their bot lane, we talk a lot about their mid lane, but I cannot stress Korn enough. Yeah, he didn't shine so much in the last series, but...
He doesn't have to.
He's had some amazing plays throughout the split, has definitely been a turning point for Starhorn Royal Club and their success to even be in this position.
Well, look at the win condition, too, especially. Starhorn's early game is pretty great, generally speaking. Just... even, it doesn't really matter what champions they're on, but Korn, he has to deal with probably the toughest matchup that LGD can throw at him in Wayless, and as long as he keeps him occupied, it's perfectly fine. Not letting him roam, not letting him make big plays in other lanes, and not letting anyone else get ahead is all Korn has to do, and they allow the other lanes to completely skyrocket into the lead. However, that being said, 17 actually did a pretty solid job of fending off Cola.
There was a very specific formula that OMG used to beat Starhorn Royal Club in their 2 best-of-5s that they played across the playoffs. And the idea is that you deep ward Insec very early because he's the big early carry for his team, likes to put those ganks, that pressure onto that mid lane, onto the bot lane. So you deep ward him, you pick a very safe bot lane, and you just stay away from Uzi and N0. You don't fight them, and you just wait for a late game team fight. Again, they're very reliant on the snowball to get themselves going and to play that hyper aggressive and fast paced game that they like to play. They're not as quick on the uptake of changing gears and being more controlled and playing from behind or playing from equal footing. It's about creating those picks and creating those advantages during the lane phase with their strong laners. I would love to see LGD implement that. We see Starhorn Royal Club going for literally the exact same composition, many of the same champions across the board that we saw previously. I would love to see LGD with their more cerebral type of playstyle kind of change gears up and put Starhorn Royal Club on the back foot. OMG has proven that it can be done. I'd like to see a third game here.
It's very possible. They could pull it out, but it's going to be tough against Starhorn's unchecked aggression. And wow, that stadium is packed tonight. These guys, they have been very quiet considering the number, and I think they're just really waiting for this game to get underway. I mean, this is a huge event for both these teams, for all of China, to see who will represent them at the World Championships. And this is a region that has been kind of cut off in a lot of ways, not known as much. I mean, the Koreans certainly know about them. They play on their server all the time, and some of these players, beat them on a regular basis. But outside of that, they kind of have a lot to prove, especially EDG. I mean, we'll go into that matchup a little bit too, because they will end up having to play by tomorrow to determine who does get that first seeding in the World Championships, but EDG has a lot to prove as a team, especially considering the way they went about being formed.
If you're referring to the fact that EDG has more World Elite members than World Elite, then yes.
Don't remind me.
No,
those retirements, man. You wonder how it would have shaken out a little bit differently if World Elite had squeaked into the playoffs.
The strength of World Elite was in their IPL 5 heyday. A lot of people don't recognize that World Elite for about 6 months during the history of League of Legends was an undefeated team. They were the best team in the world for that time period. And on that roster, it was what? FZZF, Wei Xiao, Clear Love, Messiah, and Sao Mei. I was like, I'm totally going to space the top laner. No, it was Sao Mei. So the fact that when they had their turmoil at the beginning of EDG's birth and it split the team in half and they lost FCZF, they lost Clearlove, the team has really kind of, struggled to find their footing and to find that momentum again. And like you said, the fact that they didn't make playoffs, would it have affected the retirements that we saw come out from Wei Xiao and Sao Mei?
Yeah, and it's hard to see where that team is going. I mean, it's the most popular team in China that's always talked about as, they run on fan donations, they run completely without backing of any really large organization, and that's a huge feat for them. And where do they go from here without some of their most famous, storied players? They've tried to pick up old talent. I think it was very controversial that they did do their Korean imports when they did and who they ended up replacing, but it's hard to tell where that brand is going for next year.
Hopefully only up at this point. So got their coach hero to rely back on. But speaking of Korean imports, we actually haven't talked about this yet. LGD was the first Chinese team to bring over a Korean coach.
That's right. Yeah, and of course, coaches don't get quite as much press, at least not FaceTime, but it definitely improved their overall play. Again, their difficulty has never been strategical thought. It's always, can they execute it?
I think their difficulty has always been champion pools.
Oh, that too. I don't know. Chuan has stepped up, but I feel like it's almost a little too late.
Oh, even in the days previous when they had their old roster, that it was almost decided that they were a patch team or a one-trick pony. They used to play a ton of Orianna Riven back when they had Star as their top laner. And as soon as Riven got nerfed, is that Garvey?
Oh my goodness!
It is Garvey.
It is Garvey. That is our lovely Twitch TV friend who has made a lot of this happen with the crazy face that you just saw there. So hello, Garvey. Good to see you.
I'm so happy that we got to see him in the crowd, especially the largest
I know
crowd.
they managed to find him too. I feel like they were hunting for him the entire time. He's a hard man to find.
So huge shout out to Garvey, of course. Love to see him in the crowd there. I know that he is in China, repping us, helping us set up the stream, helping us promote the stream. Without him, we would not be here. So
yep.
That's fantastic.
Run by a handful of very awesome people that have enabled this project to take off, and it's just been so awesome to be a part of it, to be honest.
I feel like we're Pyro and I are just sitting here looking at each other. How long can we stall this out, boys?
Shh, don't tell them the secret. It's all in having fun conversations. I love these signs that they bring out. I mean, this is like next level. The lighted signs and everything. I can't read it, but I'm still impressed by it.
I wonder if it's like a light bright that they tape over and push through.
Or there's like a specialty thing that you can buy. Like, imagine the kind of swag that you can buy at a venue like that.
What are they doing?
Well, we didn't talk about this as much, but there's a lot of old pro players that have been scattered around the audience, and they kind of have everyone just signing up, getting the chance to get the autographs on things when they can. And everyone's turning out to check this out. Like, you don't want to miss what happens because this determines quite a lot for China's World's chances.
By sheer population of China alone, which of course is kind of a skewed
it's massive.
Statistic, this League of Legends region is the most played and most talked about region. But it's interesting because it's a conversation that the West has literally no part in or no knowledge of.
It's starting to change a little bit, but you're right. Historically, for the amount of press that they do get, a lot of it is in their own country, but there's your resident sleeper. Oh, is it time? All right, here we go. Yeah, for the amount of press that they do get, it is crazy to see the dichotomy of just not having as much coverage outside of that. And hopefully we'll see that change, especially after Worlds. EDG, they are a very scary force for anyone to deal with. Even some of the Korean teams, I think, are going to have a hard time.
I think they're
what's hard to say about the rest of the teams here. There have been some weaknesses, and we might see them exposed here. It looks like the game's getting underway, guys. Can we finally get onto Summoner's Rift? LGD is ready. Starhorn looks ready. Is
I
it
know
gonna
I'm
happen?
ready.
Frost, tell me. Hold me here. I can't tell.
I hope it happens. Hold
Please.
on.
The suspension is like maximum right now.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here we go. Okay, finally we will be getting into game, guys. It's been a long time coming, but who will take game number 2? Will it be a 2-0 for Starhorn Royal Club, or will LGD answer back and force a game number 3? World's chances hang in the balance, or at least a little bit easier of a chance, and here we go onto Summoner's Rift for the start of the number 2 game.
Refresh me. I can't even think back to their champion picks here. Here we go.
I'll have to see for a minute, but everyone's starting the invades. Insect once again rocking the Rengar choice. Cola following him into the jungle. His buddy, as always, on Aurelia. And this time, I think LGD has a bit better of an early game just because Xuen is on a very comfort-oriented pick. They just have to watch, protect the Kog'Maw. This is something that Starhorn knows very well and definitely knows how to deal with.
Already have taken their time, do have a deep ward onto Insect's red buff, so trying to spot him out, figure out where he's going to be. Again, we saw lines of scrimmage pretty much the entire night, so this is the first time that we've seen one of these invades come through where they're laying down their vision, they're trying to gather this information. And again, I cannot emphasize how important that is against a jungler like Insect.
Yeah, you have to know where he is at all times because otherwise he will absolutely punish you very quickly. So a nice double red invade comes in. It's, of course, pretty much assumed Insect will manage to secure that one up without too much help. Normal lane's going to commence here, and this definitely favors Starhorn in the early game, but how well will they be able to play it despite Uziai's massive advantage? XQ was able to make some huge plays of his own, and PYL doing a great job of zoning. Oh, he gets a hook off onto Uziai. Can they finish up with some damage? A little bit of poke. 0 forecasts a lot of Voidoos in the near future.
So yeah, this bot lane will go if Uziai is able to utilize the early pressure of Lucian before that level 6 Kog'Maw rolls around. Big power spike there.
That's going to be the rough spot for Uziai and Zero. However, they do have the ability to really push this one back. Nice zone control. Look at this. Deny as much farm as you possibly can. XQ and PYL playing like they have the upper hand.
That
I'm
said,
impressed.
Uziai only really lost 2 minions right there. They do get the early level 2, which means that they get control of the minion wave, but...
There's the ooze.
Good poke back
Yeah,
from
steps
Uziai.
right in it. I feel like you have to wash your shoes, like triple after that.
We do see Insect actually looking top, though.
He's going to make these plays. He's going to try to at least. They will get the collapse off onto 17. Just barely, but no damage. Just a bola. He does manage to connect it, but I think he'd rather have a kill.
Far too short a lane on either side of these junglers to make any plays happen. Xuen also in the bot lane, looking for
He's looking for
something.
lane gank, though.
I don't think he wants that.
Looking for Zero. He finds him. But yeah, that's really curious. See again, they know that Insect wasn't there. Nonetheless, they were still a little bit afraid of this. Now he will be able to take these golems, but now you don't know where Insect is, and this gets dangerous. Becomes a 3v3 pretty soon. Xuen, he doesn't have his Q for just a moment. XQ and PYL trying to bait this one out. Can they get a pick off? Zero is actually chunked pretty low right now. Nice hook by PYL. This could be first blood. Ignite goes down. Xuen, he actually secures it up. Staying alive just barely. And Uziai taking a lot of poke. Will he dive back on in? PYL is low. Xuen is low. XQ burning a flash preemptively. Insect looking for the revenge. The flame misses. PYL goes down. Xuen has to flash. Uziai going to turn it around onto XQ and Insect. Oh, there's the rune prison. Uziai. They might answer him. Oh, 17. What are you doing? Nearly missed. This spot lane is crazy already, Frost. What's happening?
17 still chasing Insect. I think he will walk away from that. There we go. Beautiful
2 for 2.
teleport from 17 right there to save the remainder of his team as they limp away, but huge turnaround from Starhorn Royal Club. And really it was on the mechanical misstep of PYL with that flay. Just a little preemptive right there as Insect went to go get the leap from the brush from his passive.
Yeah, and that could have gone a lot worse for LG, to be honest. It looked awful for a moment. They were able to secure up Zero, and then, okay, we can walk it out, and the flay misses. POL with the crucial mistake, but they still managed to answer back kill for kill. So 2-2 right now, no clear advantage to either side, and Insect will go back to the spots of his jungle. I would bet he focuses this bot side a lot more from here on out.
The important thing, however, is the fact that Uzi got a kill, whereas XQ did not. He got the 2 assists right
True.
there.
But he also has a lot more farm to compensate.
Well, yes, but the wave is pushed against Uzi, so it's a little bit closer than appears as far as the numbers are concerned.
Oh, yep. Here is the Rengar. Be very careful, little cog. Oh, they get the flay off. Uzi having to dodge around. Spends his relentless pursuit, but here comes Insec and Zero zoning out XQ. And they might go for broke here. Can he get the lantern off? PYL's actually being chunked pretty hard. XQ says, no, I don't need to take it. Jump in. There's the flay. Gets it this time. But XQ might be low. It might be too late. And he's going to give that one up. Oh, can he get Insec? Oh, shield. Nope. Double shield.
Brilliant play from Starhorn Royal Cup to recognize that XQ didn't have the flash. Again, we talk about how Insec religiously ganks the bot lane.
That was a drive-by tickle.
Even more impressive, though, in that bot lane fight was Zero's positioning. The fact that he stood on the lantern and denied that escape route from XQ.
Yeah, and it's one of those little things that separates, like, you know, good players from really great players. Zero thinks of absolutely everything, and this Janna pick for him is really starting to come up huge. So we have seen it. You correctly said it's really only been shown on FCZF, but taking a leaf out of that book, Starhorn Row Club is looking like a much smarter team in this early game.
And even worse, again, is the fact that the snowball is put on Uzi. He is now 2-1-1.
Mm-hmm. Oh, once they hit 6, too, this is going to be really, really rough going for LGD's bot lane right now. The 1v1 has kind of stalled out. The mid lane hasn't really done much of anything. Expect Wayless to definitely make a bigger presence in team fights. His Lunar Rush is going to come up pretty big if they need it, but it's hard to dive a backline Uzi when he's got dash for days.
Well, you're also competing against the mega power of the Shockwave from that Orianna. Again, a champion that Korn is very comfortable with, as is Wayless. So hopefully he'll come up a little bit bigger this time around and be able to land those Shockwaves.
Yeah. It's really dependent on it. I mean, yeah, that's sorry for you. You can turn a fight either way. But this is one of Korn's favorites. I'm surprised they didn't try to take it away. I mean, it's almost not worth a ban just because there's so many more priorities, but what can you do? Especially when you're on the red side. Wayless looking for a roam.
Chuen as well, also sitting down into the bottom brush. A lot of focus on both these bot lanes from either jungler.
Yeah, it's definitely been the center of a lot of action. Teleport is available for Cola, but not for 17, so if a play does get made, might be made by Starhorn right now, and they're kind of competent to just sort of farm it out, deny as much as they can. Uzi is starting to take a lead in this lane. Wayless is going to solo out his own blue. Meanwhile, Chuen gets the red, and I think LGD is kind of trying to stall for time while they can think of something a little bit better to do, because clearly their early game strat has not worked exactly the way they've been trying to make it happen. Oh, no, way less. Oh, the blue buff regen. There's a timing mistake, and that's going to allow a roam now.
So disappointing when that happens. He's not roaming. He's walking over to get his blue buff.
Okay, but I mean, it gives him a little extra time, and like those are those little mistakes that it's just such a, oh, I just did that moment, you know?
What's really important here is the fact that Insec has his ultimate. And that he's around the mid lane. So obviously the synergy between Orianna and Rengar is incredibly potent in how those champions will work together with those ultimates. By having that ward there and getting that information, it allows Wayless to remind himself to be careful.
Hello, let's Cole. Zero says, let's go all the way. Tornado is up. XQ is down. And Uzi with the 1-2 punch manages to find a pickup with the help of Zero. And they even zone it out, so only Uzi takes the damage. He should be able to grab the rest of these minions absolutely for free, realizing POL wasn't in the area. Nicely played.
I feel like a lesser team would have just walked away from that, but the dive from the Janna Lucian. Here comes the teleport.
Oh, Cola. This is not the lane you're looking for. Gets poked out just a little bit, but this is still a pretty big advantage. Zero. Ooh. Janna ult with the zone. Chuen is low, but maybe not low enough. PYL. The flayback scares him successfully. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Wayless is going, not quite gone. It actually takes a flash in from Korn to secure it, and he's pretty low. 17 on the chase now. Insec trying to back it away. Nice bola move. But that was too close for comfort.
Yeah, but stacked their ultimates, did find a kill for their pressure. Unfortunately, it's not going to transition to anything bigger, so just a couple of picks here and there, but No dragon. Both teleports now down.
Yeah, it seems like the objectives have kind of gone out the window for these two teams. They're just focusing on who can get the better picks, and so far it's Starhorn, but LGD is still very much in this.
They can't really afford to fall any further behind, especially with the snowball potential of Starhorn Royal Club. This dragon is very important and very crucial to the turning point of this game.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and force it, I feel, because Starhorn is perfectly content to let it lie and just build up their advantage as best they can. Also couple that with the fact that, well, 17 is going to die. Let's couple it with that, because this is the Great Escape. Can he do it? No! Kola says Blade Surge onto your face. That's going to be one more pickup. With the help of Insec, of course. He really has been all around the map this game, and we haven't seen as much of Chuen.
And exactly, even more important was the fact that Chuen again was out of position, was unable to capitalize on Insect showing himself top lane. They couldn't apply any pressure to any lane or dragon, so another free pick for Starhorn Royal Club, just grabbing these tiny pieces of gold across the map, and it's gonna snowball out of control eventually.
Well, you see the big difference between these two junglers. Chuen is perfectly happy to just sort of sit and wait for an opportunity to come to him. Insect makes an opportunity. Oh boy. Be very, very careful. You are going into dangerous territory, even though you can't see it. Gets the Sonic Wave off, but opts not to go in. Very smart maneuver. Safe one. Wayless with the roam. Does cancel it out as well. They could go for forcing a fight right now, but it'd be really, really, really risky, especially since XQ is yet to hit that spike he needs. In fact, he's only got one piece of Triforce complete.
And Starhorn Royal Club is content to sit in this lane phase here.
No, they're happy. The PYL takes a lot of calling shots. This tower's going down pretty soon. Uzi is actually going to, nearly get caught out. Surprise, I've got a dash. Chuen trying for the bait, but he's just been sitting in bushes.
And the issue is that he's trying to get involved with his captain, get involved with PIL, but Insec has put the bottom lane behind. The strongest, hold on a second though.
Catch off, but he goes right on in. He's taken pretty low. There's the ult from Zero, saving the life, most likely, of Insec, and even a bad situation can become something good for them. Ult spent both sides. And Starhorn, not too worse for the wear.
How to use a successful John ult. Don't like the situation you see? Press R. No, great reset from Zero right there.
Forecast, that is a great idea.
That is.
Oh, hello. When did Chuan get into the party? Okay, he does not connect on the Sonic Wave. It was a nice try. Back to the jungle.
Okay, again.
Or not.
The issue is that the captain of their team, the shot caller of their team, has been put behind in his lane. It's very hard for him to get involved with the rest of the map and to help steer his team if he can't really hold his own in his own lane. Before we saw there was actually a lane swap, so PYL was able to, seamlessly juggle the team commands. This time around, the pressure is on and nothing's working out, nothing's clicking.
LGD's solo lanes are kind of lost right now. In fact, 17 giving up a tower in the top side. That's the first of the game. It's going to be in favor of Starhorn. Korn is holding his own against Wayless. The ball comes in. Wayless, can he do enough? He gets the ult off, but it's not going to be the damage he's looking for. He might be able to get a little bit more burn off with the Ignite. Wayless will be able to walk it out. But that was dangerously close. And the Lunar Rush, not actually used in that.
Have you been watching a lot of Star Wars, Pyra?
Maybe from time to time.
Just sensing
How could you tell?
I'm sensing some droids.
I see no droids. What are you talking about?
Excellent.
I do see a dead tower, though. It is one hit from gone, and
stiff breeze.
Uzi will apply that stiff breeze, and they'll be able to back it off with superior vision control, too, around this dragon pit. They have a number of pinks. They have a bit of warding in the enemy jungle here. LGD are just looking like a team that has no direction, and I think it has a lot to do with that shutdown on PYL.
Stalling him out, keeping him locked up, not allowing the roam. It was, again, it was very formulated from Starhorn Royal Club, but honestly very obvious. Insect ganks his bot lane over and over and over again, and Chuen tried to make himself available, but again, just lost in the 1v1 matchups.
Yeah, and even in the worst of situations, you see Starhorn really able to kind of back out without any real cost to them. They have a number of good escapes here. The Janna pickup is looking better and better each time. They are giving up a little bit of ward coverage here, but Zero to the rescue. Tries to punish PYL for his hubris. How dare you clear my ward?
30 gold in the bank.
Yeah.
Starhorn World Club should now look at this dragon. It is the next easiest
objective. Oh, PYL. That was dangerous. Almost checked into an insect, but wards are put down once again. Yeah, this dragon, again, Starhorn doesn't have to take it anytime soon. They can keep denying it repeatedly because they have this slowly increasing gold lead. They're playing a much more conservative game than we're used to seeing from them, and it's working just fine.
I think they're much more about just bruising and punishing XQ and POL right now.
Wait till they get an insurmountable gold lead, translate that to a big 5v5, and just end the game up mid. Pretty simple strategy, but it works for them.
They are finally making their way towards this dragon, however.
Oh, they might force it here. Yeah, here we go. Chuen is going to get called to action. Can he get there in time? It's going to have to be a steal. It's going down too quickly, and they're zoning him away. No thank you. And that is Dragon number 1 going into the pocket of Starhorn Royal Club.
And of course, the fact that Uzi had taken his time to make a huge pressure point very deep on the bottom side of the map means that PYL and XQ cannot get involved at all, and all eyes are on them with the minion vision.
Dodge away. XQ and PYL, speaking of them, might be in a little bit of trouble here. Minion wave pushed up, and they've got Rengar coming in around the back. That is a half health. Kog'Maw getting a little bit healed up. But he's still at a very weak point right now. Only 2 pieces of Triforce complete. He's not yet hit the power spike they need him to be at, and Uzi's already got an Infinity Edge 3-1. Might get himself a little bit caught up, but the Janitor Tornado is going to be enough. Oh, the hook's knocked to the left, and they might be able to find enough damage. Here comes Insec and XQ. He gets a Lantern to safety, just barely. LGD hanging on by the skin of their teeth, and amazingly, no one dies just yet, but maybe they will. It's Uzi going down. Everyone, LGD is low, but they're making the plays. They got the carry. Can they follow up the damage? How did LGD pull this one off? Froskarin, and they're gonna get Cola. There's your Lunar Rush, and there is your second kill.
See if they'll look for the chase. Looks like everyone's gonna back off. Big turning point of the fight was the greed from Uzi to step back forward. Initially, when the Sonic Wave connected with him, he actually backed off. It was almost very smart and very controlled from Uzi, saying, Chuen has the execute on me. I'm under 25% health. I'll just back off out of the range. They zoned him out. Chuen was very patient, though, found the second Sonic Wave. Uzi steps forward and attempts to make an outplay. He was trying to coordinate with Zero that as the Sonic Wave was coming in, the Janna ultimate would push him away. Unfortunately, miscommunication there, and allows LGD a fantastic collapse.
Yeah, and they just barely made that worth. That's worth a pat on the back, I think. Starhorn still maintaining a lead in this game, a pretty decent one at that. 4,000 gold in the bank ahead at only 17 minutes in. However, LGD have shown that they can take counter engagements. They burned a lot to do it, but I think Wayless is going to become a much more significant factor in this one. Speaking of Wayless, by the way, the builds. Once again, we talked about this, and first item, that's a curious one. Haven't seen an Abyssal Scepter built that quickly in a while.
Makes sense.
I guess Ori, I can understand it.
What I really like, though, is the CS, the fact that you're, again, keeping up with an Orianna.
Well, this is Wayless. I mean, this is the guy that could do it. As underrated as some of the mid lanes in China are, he's definitely somebody who stands out on the team for mechanical proficiency and being able to make the best of situations that may not look that great. Korn kind of held that same distinction, I think, as somebody who could make do with less for a long time before they started really trying to funnel a lot more of the kills into him. This game, only 1 in his pocket. They've gone back to the more traditional feed the Uzi strat, but it does seem to be working for them.
See where LGD goes from here. They do have 2 sight zones on the team, so should be able to set up a lot of defensive wards, keep themselves from getting picked off, and hopefully stall out this game for them to make some safe rotations, get that Kog'Maw, get XQ back onto his feet, but Starhorn Royal Club definitely starting to run away with this.
Well, XQ's got the Triforce now, so these next fights will be very different indeed, but it's all how LGD takes it. Now, they are 5-manning this mid lane, but with no minion wave behind it, what are they going for? Just looking to pick the kills or just trying to scare their opponents off? And it looks like it will be the latter. They clear a lot of that minion wave, and they're looking to make something happen, but the ball is there. They're grouped up. This could be a shockwave. Nope, it's going to come back. Oh, there it is again. Always watch for it. You never know when the shockwave's coming in. They got the tower down to half. Oh, there's one. It's going to find 17, and they will go for this one. Cola is chunked low. He does get away. Janna ult speeds everyone up and pushes everyone back. Chuen trying to get right back to his team like a magnet. And Insec comes in just in time to do absolutely nothing of note, or maybe he will if they follow up this engagement. Rare that Insec was not able to get involved sooner.
The fact of the matter also was that Uzi was late to the fight. He got a subpar calling off from the side, not a ton of damage right there, which allows LG to kind of brute force this. The reason why this mid push started in the first place was because Uzi was out of position in that bot lane. Just took too long to react.
Wayless is deep in enemy territory, doesn't find what he's looking for. He will back to go grab some new items. Yeah, that was despite losing 17. They still managed to brute force this. Oh, way less. Hello. He wants to find himself Insect. He's got the HP. Does he have the damage? Insect flashing forward, flashing forward. That's way less picking up the kill. Excellent play. Can he get out with his life, though, is the question. He does not have a flash. He has a shield, and I don't think it'll be enough. Down he goes.
Fortunately, did not get his QR up to pull him away to that
Meanwhile,
mini wave in time.
Give me the lantern. Cog to safety.
But speaking of buff transfers complete, Insect took the blue buff to try to keep it away from Diana.
Long way around to give your blue buff to Korn.
Also
but
got
mission
300 gold
accomplished.
for his troubles.
Yeah. Well, giving Korn a couple more kills is definitely a boon for Starhorn. They're okay with Insect going down. He doesn't have to be the hard carry. He ended up that last game, but I feel like that's just a bonus for them. If they can get Korn and Uzi up to happy levels, they're going to be able to take fights very well, and one shockwave is all it's going to take. Props to LGD for not letting too many members get caught up in those so far, though.
Again, though, a big issue of Wayless being off on his own, going to hero, getting caught out. I mean, it can go either way.
I don't know. It's hard to say if that was really necessarily worth. I mean, giving the kill to Korn was not a great idea, but blood in his eyes, he wanted to get Insect, and almost like a vendetta here. As we have a pause coming in, Chuan having a little bit of connection issues, so we'll be back to that pause for a minute. And I feel like this favors Starhorn this time, because they did have a lot of craziness that they weren't anticipating happen to them.
Starhorn definitely playing a slower pace game than we saw in the first set, and that we really see from them a lot of the time. Again, it's about creating that early game snowball, and yeah, they found some success there, but see if
Get
they
your
can
head in the game, Chuan.
speed it up a little bit. LGD. There's Wayless there.
He doesn't seem too perturbed by the events unfolding. He's having a good time on Diana.
Diana and Riven.
Pick up. Yeah, what a champion pool. I mean, Zatai is normally the one we refer to as having this totally crazy random button, but this time Wayless has proven that it doesn't matter who you put him on, he will deliver.
Diana, Riven, and Lissandra of most recent.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a huge X factor for the team and can come up massive. He will finish that Zonius pretty soon as well, so we'll see how that does work out for them. LGD clearing in the mid lane. Where does Starhorn go from here, though? Because it has been stalled out a little bit.
Dragon up in 16 seconds. The vision control on that side of the map, they're obviously prepping for it. That said, they've got 2 pinks in their inventory, so see
if they find a pick here, Starhorn could easily take this next dragon. They might just force it, actually. They clear the vision out. They've got 4 members. Cola has a teleport. Excuse me. Cola's already there. And Uzi joins the party, so they're going to try to get the bait off on here. Chuan, will he face check it? I don't think so.
The issue is that they didn't clear all of... There they go. They didn't clear all of the vision off of that.
It's just being given away for free. I don't think LGD wants to take a 5v5. They're much better at setting up picks and forcing these objectives. So right now, that was a really nice play by Starhorn.
They're better at reactionary play, but unfortunately, no option right there. They will hold and defend their mid tower, though.
And a lot of backs coming in for the Starhorn side. LGD should be able to secure up a little bit more vision control, but so far Starhorn is just playing the better gold game. Economically, they're pretty reasonably ahead, and you have to worry for when these eventual team fights come in, because LGD, they know that they're behind. They know they can't take straight fights, but what do they do to get back in if all the objectives are being taken in front of them?
They have their wards setting up a line of scrimmage for them. And what you'll see them do, or what they should be doing at this point, is they should just be moving underneath their wards to each of the pressure points that the minions are creating on their map and just free farming. Again, it's all eyes on XQ to make sure that his Kog'Maw can get up to speed despite the stall that Starhorn Royal Club put on him in the early game. So I expect to see LGD to be very passive, again, deciding we don't want to fight this dragon fight because we don't want it to get more out of control. Starhorn has control of this area, we're just going to let it go. It's an issue, though, in holding their towers, especially as soon as Uzi gets actually involved with these towers. It's a little bit of a mistake here to continuously have him just farming the side lanes alongside Kog'Maw and pushing these waves back in. I feel like they need to group up with him and start using his power and his tower shred, because the only anti-siege on the form of LGD is that Diana.
Oh, Xuan! Oh, it's a good thing PYL was there. I'll save you. He's like the superhero of this team. Could you imagine Thresh as like a superhero? Just like gliding around, hooking to things.
Superhero Thresh. He has a little cape like Teemo.
Oh, right, please.
Don't like Teemo?
I would love to have that. Come up with skin ideas on our spare time, guys.
What do we do? We had Zombie Kog'Maw.
We did have Zombie Kog'Maw.
I think we had a few other good ones.
Oh, we might have Zombie Shuan in a minute. Nope, he's getting away. Man, he keeps getting himself in bad situations, but just barely able to escape, and the ward placements get that off. However, this tower is now under fire, and they don't have the position to defend it. PYL tries to get in late to the party, though.
There they go. Okay, that's what needed to happen.
Yeah, forcing the objective. Starhorn answers back with that last outer tower. 3-1. LG only been able to get this mid one down, and they're not really forcing anything else. Uzi softening them up. Will they go in for the fight, for the tenderizing? I don't think they will. Insec is still waiting for the engage that you can just delete somebody with. They want to find XQ, but this protect the cog comp, so far working out pretty well. It's sort of an unconventional one, too. It's like there's so many assassins, you can't focus the Kog'Maw.
It's pressure is on PIL to make sure that XQ can stay safe right there. Again, the versatility of that champion Thresh. His kit always making him a standout pick.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Starhorn Royal Club, again, they're lost. They can't identify their win conditions. They have this issue where they cannot close out games, and it's starting to come to that moment of, I think we're supposed to be around here, guys, but what are we supposed to do? You know, they can't group up and utilize their strength correctly.
They definitely have a couple of troubles they'll have to resolve. These are the kind of mistakes that won't be forgiven against the international competition. On the other hand, LGD is doing a good job playing from behind. The issue is letting the minor mistakes get punished over and over again. They gave up a tower all because Xuan was just not in a great position.
Well, they can't really defend their towers anyway. Starhorn Royal Club should just be sieging. That should just be their only goal is, hey, we're ahead, we have a snowball, let's just group up and let's take objectives. But they're playing LGD's game, which, I mean, it's kind of complete role reversal of what this entire match has been. It's been Starhorn Royal Club calling the shots, but they just can't quite find, hey, we need to just take these towers, force them down.
Yeah, and they just haven't been doing it.
See if this burns in the past. Gold lead still very high in favor of Starhorn World Club, especially at 26 minutes here, so still dangerous for LGD to get on a full 5v5.
Mm-hmm. Now you have a dead Thresh. That's about all we can say for it.
No hype there?
No, that was over before it began, but this might not be. Insec. Okay, they're going to disengage. LGD doesn't want to take these fights, but it seems that Starhorn doesn't either.
They've also had very clever warding. The fact that the ward isn't placed in the brush, it's placed in the corner right above the Baron pit that allowed them to see that, quote, fanatic brush setup.
Yeah, well, they're trying for it, but you can tell how impatient Starhorn is to try and make this happen. They want to make it happen as soon as they possibly can. And Insec had the ball on him, but they didn't have anyone in position. LGD is much too smart a team to be caught out in a 5-man in the jungle like that. You might get one, but you're not going to get them all.
And again, Starhorn Royal Club stalled out, unsure where to go, what to do. Item builds coming out across the board, starting to have a lot of core items completed, most notably the fact that this Ryze has his Roa and his Saras. Huge power spike right there, especially as we come into the 27-minute. Both those items should be very well stacked, although hasn't quite completed the shield.
Yeah, it's something you can wait a little bit for. I feel like it's cutting a few corners, but they kind of have to make do. Again, you know, you're on a much leaner budget at this point.
His Roa should be stacked up as well.
Yeah. Oh, 2-man Baron. Hello. In second Corrin says, yes, we can. As they go for it. Zero coming in to help as well. Uzi on zone duty. But they back off. They peel away, trying for the pick, and they don't find it. Again, a bit impatient. Now XQ is going to find Cola with the help of Wayless. He should be able to flash away from this one, but he's going to get followed, and XQ says, I want that one. He will get it. Little Cog gets himself a kill. Doesn't look too happy about it, though.
Had to burn his flash across the map.
That was very, meh kill face.
Probably just happy that he found some glimmer of hope right there. Does now have his Bork completed.
Yeah, he's got a little bit better of a power spike at this point. The issue is Uzi just simply performing better, and it hasn't hit that point where Lucian will fall off, and it never hit that point last game just because of how fed he managed to get. And it's on LGD to try and keep stalling this game out.
Still relatively
Oh,
fed,
Dragon.
4, 2, and 1. Has the Eye Edge Shiv and Last Whisper complete before 30 minutes. That's a huge power boom right there as they just mow through this dragon.
Yep. Completely shredded. Uzi, living up to his name, is able to rat-a-tat-tap that one down. Not actually, but metaphorically.
That joke took me so many different directions.
I was like pulling you one way and then suddenly you were pulled the other.
You were weaving a beautiful story with your words.
Oh, that was just a wonderful way to put that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So polite. All right, so the ward coverage is being cleared out. There's a lot to invest. Oh, he doesn't have the vision of the last one. Ooh, clever placement by LGD.
Baron Gate Wars.
Okay, that was awesome.
And they never
Value.
sweep there.
The value ward
The value. The game changer
is
ward.
worth far more than 15 gold. The amount you get for killing it.
See if they can find the pick. Again, it just completely stalled out. So Rise does now have his SHRC complete, has that shield available. He actually
This is a problem
popped
for
it.
Starhorn. This is such a problem for Starhorn. Now they know that this is going to be started. They're going, oh, they're actually just going for it. Yeah, they had to wait a minute if they want to even go for it. They're going to peel off immediately because they know that Chuan can contest along with the rest of the team looking for a pickup. But there's that ward there. Insect will get the jump on in. But they do manage to get on out. That was 17, burning a flash. So they did get something for all their troubles.
Again, that one ward completely giving away Starhorn Royal Club's intentions and positions.
Yeah, and Chuan doing a really good job of just tickling the Baron and making it poke down Starhorn so they can't even start it without too much risk. And here we go. We've seen this before on other teams, other games. There's the bum rush towards mid. Can LGD pick it up? They don't have a wave, and they're just going to back away. Don't want to get caught.
Don't want to get the flank, especially by a team that is still very large gold sum ahead, although that is starting to close up a little bit. Has to be
Now, if
careful.
they can't poke them down, this can help out a lot. If they can poke Starhorn, especially the carries low enough to where Wayless can go in for the assassination, Chuan can get an insect kick back. That would be a really big boon for LGD to get back into this game, but I think they're not confident enough to try it. They might, again, nope, not even attempt it.
Look at the CS in this game right now.
It's pretty crazy.
That is a 304 CS Lucian at 31 minutes.
Yeah, but 314 on Diana. Wayless doesn't mess around when it comes to farming. Oh, this death brush. They keep giving it away every time, and that ward, they know exactly where they're going. That ward has paid for itself over and over and over, and they haven't swept it.
That said, a lot of pressure points
they missed it again.
are building up on their side of the map. They have big waves.
Oh
going on both top
no!
and bottom.
This might not be where you wanted to be. Chuan, he's low. The ball connects. Korn getting himself a kill. However, the fight is still on. Insect goes down. That's PYL landing a hook and going on in for it. It ends up being a 2-for-3 trade so far. 17 and XQ limping away. Double kill going over to Cola to clean that fight up. Starhorn again come up with a big series of picks, even though it was evened out. PYL trying to make the plays.
Zero reason for LGD to face check like that to allow the flank.
They
Exactly. They
absolutely
had
do, and
sight
they
on
got hasty.
Starhorn Royal Club. They should have fallen back to their waves. Again, they've been playing this game. If we just kind of move underneath the wards, we farm the
They're
the
going to go up
camps.
top. Whoa, what a wave they can push on this one. 17 can't finish this off in time, or he gets really close to it. He's low, however. Cola's tanking tower damage. XQ finding himself a snipe as Uzi manages to turn around the turret, but they have to be pleased at least with getting something back for it.
Tower diving Rise, although look at the damage from Korn.
I know, dude. 17 is so low out this one. He just has to back away from it. Uzi with the one-man ward clearing squad. And they're still not going to be able to try for this Baron anytime soon, but LGD's stall has been starting to weaken a little bit. Starhorn moving up the pace a bit.
But really mostly due to their own faults. Made a positional error and got immediately punished for it. Not the worst case scenario. The Baron is still live for both teams, but lost the tower, lost a few kills, and they were starting to creep back up into that gold deficit, kind of even out ground and back to square one.
Yeah, Starhorn still maintaining a pretty solid gold lead, but we've seen this kind of lead before just not be essentially useful. We're getting closer and closer to that full build scenario for both teams. XQ, he's going to become incredibly terrifying. He's actually got an elixir just for a little bit extra for any of these team fights. They know they have to take a fight sooner or later, and it's shown. that Starhorn has some cracks here in the armor. They're going to try this Death Brush again, but here we go. Baron finally being started up. They have to force something. Xuen is going to get a ward clear off. If he gets hooked up, it's lights out, and they're not even going to go for it. Nope, Baron going to be peeled off. There we go.
50-50 Baron. Of course, you never want to try to smite against a Lee Sin, especially when he has that level advantage, level 14 to level 13 on your smite.
Yeah, it's very obvious what Starhorn wants to do, and I feel like the real trick is just not giving into the temptation. Don't fight. You don't want to do it. It will be a mistake.
You can see it in their eyes, though, Pyra. They just fill with bloodlust.
They just want to.
And they think to themselves,
typical
I can
Chinese
do it this
aggression,
time.
Frost.
The split push, the towers, the Baron is so prioritized by them, but they don't put as much love into looking at these structural objectives.
Well, LGD is doing a pretty good job of kind of running around.
LGD is
Starhorn.
effectively scary at this point in the game. That said, there was a very relevant window of time that Starhorn Royal Club could have made the snowball, but stalled out because they got blindsided by the Baron. Even though they haven't taken it, even though it hasn't been stolen away from them, I feel like this game has been a Baron throw.
Yeah, it kind of has in a really weird way. They haven't like actually given a Baron up, but they've given up so much by trying to take the Baron and Insect kicked and blown up. Absolutely 17. LGD with the picks, and they might try for the Baron now. It's not a 50-50 anymore. Oh boy.
That moment when Insect gets cacaoed back to lose the fight.
You took that away from him? Man, you are cruel. Oh, get cold. PYL. They might not want to take this. Rethinking it. Flay's not going to connect on anybody, and they're synced up, grouped up way less. He gets himself Zanya'd, but I don't know if it'll be enough to keep him alive. Janna going to take that 1-0 with the tornado. And LGD, they might have found a pick, but they won't find the fight. Everybody's melting. That's a lot of picks going over to Uzi, and he could go all the way. XQ running as fast as his little Kog'Maw legs will carry, and this Baron is going to be in the hands of Starhorn Royal Club after a long-fought fight.
The temptation to go for the Baron against the Orianna. Again, the pick coming up huge for Starhorn Royal Club. It's... will XQ get it? I mean, there's no smite. He does have a chance. Doesn't have vision on it. He's just going to walk off.
Yeah, no, you got to get out of there.
Uh-oh. Uzi Eyes found him. Gonna walk it out. Okay. Pick goes down on Insect. LGD makes the mistake. They group up against an AoE heavy champion. Get punished for it. Pushed off Baron. Baron for Starhorn Royal Club. Can they turn the Baron into anything? That is the question of the day.
Well, once you've taken the one objective that you've been trying to get all game...
For the past 20 minutes, they've been at this
It's like when you finish the main storyline of Skyrim. You're just like wandering around. What do I do now, guys? I guess there's a dragon. I should probably kill it.
So like Skyrim.
Exactly like Skyrim.
I'm so unsure if you planned that or if it just wandered into you.
I'll never tell. So LGD, yes, they've given things up, but they can still fight. The issue is they didn't need to go for the Baron. They could have forced an objective down bot. I think the Baron call was greedy.
Absolutely. They had a numbers advantage. Just because you have a numbers advantage doesn't necessarily transition into the Baron. Again, it's not respecting...
You won't get outsmited, but you might get out killed.
It's just not respecting the team makeup.
Also, the zone picks too. Like Zero managed to even grab a kill. Xuen was in the back, and he's like, "Okay, I can stay alive. I can stay alive." Oh, there's a tornado.
Especially on that Majai's, has it stacking.
Yep. And this is a much more common build than some people might think on Janna. Just because, look, 2 deaths the entire game. That's the 10 assists really coming into play there. This is why you build Majai's on Janna, especially if you're somebody as skilled as Zero. This guy is pretty unstoppable once he gets rolling. It's just the thing that Uzi needed, and it has come up huge time and time again for Starhorn Royal Club. Here it is again.
Look at that tower melt under Lucian's pressure, as well as
they're
the zone
going
from
for the
Corrin.
objectives now. They're finally rolling forward on this. And it looks like Starhorn has just hit that peak where they're like, okay, we are happy to take whatever we can get, force the objective fights in. LGD struggling to try and react. They're getting grouped up, though. A big shockwave could really be the end of this, and it's off cooldown. There's nothing they can really do in their own jungle. There's a big wave pushing top. LGD's in trouble.
Especially as this double buff. Blue Orianna steps forward. Zones for days, wave clear for days.
Blue Orianna. On hit?
Oh, please.
Oh, 17. Oh, there's the ball. It's got XQ. They're going to take him down. No problem. And that is going to be Wayless going forward. Can he do it? No, Zero. He gets the ult off Zanya's Wayless. He's down. That's another pickup. Korn getting that one. They don't even need the tower. They're going all for the kills. 17 is going to evaporate. Finally, they will take this one down. The tower lasted longer than the team. And Chuen and PYL are all that stands between Starhorn Royal Club and 2-0ing this series. Can they do it? I don't know. They're going to take themselves first inhibitor of the game. They might be able to end from here. Those death timers are pretty big. Frostgrin, I think we might be seeing the end.
It will be Starhorn Royal Club and OMG moving on to the winner's bracket. Which means that the next match is going to be LGD versus Invictus Gaming.
Yep, that's going to be the long short of it. 2 quick 2-0s. And it looks like we know who the more dominant teams are in the LPL. Starhorn taking a massive victory and moving on to round number 2. LGD dropping down and will face off just after this against Invictus Gaming.
I feel like we predicted this a little bit, Pyra. Wasn't the statement made that Starhorn Royal Club would stall this out for 40 minutes, find a Baron, and end the game?
Pretty sure we called that.
That said, can Starhorn Royal Club afford to be that predictable against an veteran team like OMG, a veteran team that has beat them in 2 best-of-5s?
Yeah, it's definitely hard to call just because LGD is such a wild card. The issue here is that they just simply got outplayed. As straightforward as that. They had a strat, they had a plan, they tried to execute it, it just didn't happen. Twice in a row, Starhorn triumphs and will move on to face up against OMG, and that is going to be the rematch. 2 series, 2 best-of-5s in the playoffs, ended in OMG's favor by a hair, and Starhorn is going to be looking for revenge.
Important element to note is that OMG actually lost the quote-unquote best-of-3 section of that best-of-5. They came back and won the best-of-5 on the back half of the series.
Yeah, the turnarounds were absolutely insane, but this next game is going to decide who the first team to not go to Worlds will be. And that is the nicest way I can put it. Honestly, IG and LGD, like, they haven't played terrible, but I'm going to give the credit here to LGD for, I feel like, playing a tougher matchup, for them especially, and looking better. Invictus, despite the hype surrounding them, the potential of them to, you know, take a game off of anybody and everybody, but also lose to anybody and everybody, did not live up to that.
You're absolutely correct, and it's the ultimate division of playstyles coming to a head in the next series. Again, that I don't even want to call it a Moscow 5 playstyle, because I feel like Moscow 5 at least had some thought process behind what they were doing, but it's that see hero, kill hero mentality versus a very cerebral, setup, reactionary playstyle from LGD.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm excited for in this matchup is Zatai versus Wayless, because this will be the battle of the random button.
Hopefully. I would like to see Zatai play in form.
Renekton mid incoming.
Please.
It happened once. Alright guys, well that's going to be a break for us. We'll be going on cooldown. When we return, we will be bringing you that final best-of-3 of the night. It will be, of course, LGD versus Invictus Gaming, fighting to stay alive and go to Worlds, or at least not get pushed out tonight. So we'll be right back with the Season 4 World Championship qualifiers in China. Guys, don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this.